with tax season quickly approaching, you may be wondering what type of documents do I need to be locating? What type of documents do I need before I can actually file? So we're going to go ahead in this video and I'm going to walk you through the different type of documents that you may need in order to complete your tax return. Now, some of them, they haven't arrived yet. Most of your documents may not have arrived yet, but be on the lookout for these different documents because you're going to need them as soon as they receive them. By getting these documents and being prepared, you're going to be able to file as early as possible, which is important, especially if you're looking at getting a tax return this year. So let's go ahead and take a look at the list. So these are the records that you should be on the lookout for, or you should start looking at trying to locate so that way you're ready for this tax season. So you can see we need our W-2. So if we're working for somebody, even if we're working part-time, we're going to receive that W-2. We need to retain that. We can't do anything with our taxes until we have it. Now then there's your series of 1099s, and these 1099s can come in different types. It depends on what you are doing and what you're receiving income for. So if you're receiving interest, you're going to have the 1099 INT. If you have your 1099 div, that's going to be your dividends. So there's all kinds of different 1099s there. So if you're receiving a 1099 and you've been receiving money, say from Venmo for your business transactions, well then you're going to have to wait until you receive that 1099K to be able to file. But go ahead and make sure that you're collecting these as they come in. So have a safe, secure location to put all these documents in so that way you're prepared for tax season. The 1099T, so if you're a student and you pay tuition, you may be able to have a deduction on that. So expect to receive a 1099T. This is particularly important if you're looking for the American Opportunity Tax Credit or the Lifelong Learning Credit. 1098E, student loan interest. So if you've paid over $600 in student loan interest, you should be receiving a 1098E. So expect to find that and then to go ahead and secure that so you can make your deductions. Remember, we do get an above the line deduction for student loan interest as long as we fall within the income thresholds. We're not making more than the threshold amount. We have our 1098. So if you have a mortgage, of course, you're going to have your interest statement. You're going to be able to use that for your taxes if you're going to be itemizing your deductions. So 1098 is going to be important on that. Property tax records. So make sure you're keeping those records that are coming in. So you're ready to go with the property taxes if you own your home. Charitable donations. Hey, I do have a video on these charitable donations that talks about the rule changes that are going to be occurring in 2026 and whether you should be making those charitable donations in 2025 or 2026. Short answer is if you're going to be itemizing, make sure you're getting them in here in 2025 because the rules change in 2026 where there's going to be some floors that you have to worry about before you can actually deduct anything. And then if you're going to be taking the standard deduction, maybe wait until January to make those contributions because you're going to be able to take a deduction even if you itemize starting in 2026, but that doesn't apply for 2025. But regardless, if you did make any type of deductions in your charitable contributions and you were looking at itemizing, then you need to be retaining those records. You need to have proof of those records, receipts, correspondence, whatever it is that you can substantiate that deduction. Medical expenses, right? So whether it's a pharmacy, the dentist, a doctor, mental health, contributions to HSAs, whatever it is, make sure you're keeping those. Now, I'll be honest with you, with medical expenses, for a tax deduction, it's pretty tough to be able to get, right? Because you have to have 7.5% of your AGI before you're able to take any of these itemized deductions on that. So that's kind of hard. HSA is a little bit different there, but as far as your medical expenses themselves, it's hard to get to that threshold. Hopefully you're not at that threshold and your health and your family's health is doing well. But if you are within that area, those are the documents that you're going to need to be able to retain in order to take that itemized deduction. Retirement accounts. So if you've been contributing to retirement accounts, IRAs, 401ks, make sure that you're keeping records for that. Child care. Again, if you have children and they're in child care, you may be able to get some tax benefits out of that. But what you're going to need is a name, address, tax ID, and the amount that you've paid. So make sure you're keeping all that information for your records so you're ready to go. And then finally, a big one is business records. For those of you that are watching this and aren't working maybe for an employer, keep these records, right? Your mileage. So if you have to have business travel, go ahead and keep those records, because you're going to want the odometers and the purpose for your travel, so you can get that done. Home offices. So you do get a lot of deductions for the home office. I do have a video that talks about home office deductions. With the home offices, it's not just within your office itself, so your equipment's going to be, or your furniture is going to be deductible, but some of your household expenses may be deductible as well, such as a portion of the internet, some of your utilities, a portion of your utilities on that. All those things are going to also be deductible. So take a look at that video if this applies to you. What income do you have? What expenses do you have? So all kinds of things with business records. So make sure you're keeping good business records in order to capitalize on all those different deductions, because they're very valuable. Of course, we need to make sure that you're going to be a business versus a hobby, and again, another video that deals with that. But those are the records that you're going to be looking for to keep in your files, and that you're going to want to make sure you have ready to go for tax season. All right, subscribe to my channel for more tax tips.